What's up? It's your girl, Falashade Okenmoken, the owner of Unscripted TV. And I'm just here to let you know that we have a new show. And it's called Redefining Now, where we discuss redefining moments from the past, coming up in the future, while talking to some game-changing movers and shakers making history right now. All right. Hello and welcome. Well, wait, MacBook Pro. Oh, making sure you guys can hear me. I was back here doing some fun behind the scenes work with this whole internet thing, but I'm really glad to have you all here. So, as usual, welcome to Redefining Now. I am your host, Falashade Ogunmoken. I'm also the CEO of Unscripted TV. And on Redefining Now, we discuss current events, trends, and influential people across the diaspora, and in that order. I'm your host, Falashe Ogunmoken, creator of Unscripted TV, which is the interactive cinematic experience, bringing you an amazing Black content in an immersive way. If this is your first time joining us, thank you. And welcome. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So if you're interested in taking part, please feel free to connect with me via the email address that's listed below. If you're viewing this on YouTube or Facebook, thank you. But head on over to www.unscripted.tv so you can get the full experience of what's going on. There's a live chat, there's interactive capabilities, there's so much more, and we really just can't wait to see you there. So, okay, let's get this show going. As you know, it's April, which is all about financial literacy. And last month, we had the pleasure of speaking with two really amazing women that work in finance for Women's History Month. And I just wanted to take this time out to thank both of them for being our last guest in March to be on the show, but also for being a kickoff into Financial Literacy Month. And with that being said, this Thursday, Angel Rich will be launching her Credit Rich, which basically helps you pay bills and raise your credit at the same time. So if you're somebody that's like, you want to be able to put nickel and dimes together to get bills paid, but you also want to work on raising your credit, then that is exactly what her app does. That comes out on April 15th. Duh. Perfect day. Check it out and make sure that you download it, because I do think that that's something that can really redefine some narratives in our community. And then also Charlene Federico with Guidify is she has an amazing app called Guidify that basically helps you find a financial advisor and deal with financial literacy, decisions, and growth. So those are two really dope redefining women from last month that also spill into this month with financial literacy. So make sure that you definitely check them out. All right. Now, coming up on the show today, we're going to dive in on some redefining moments this month, from Black maternal health to the death of Dante and its connection to George Floyd, the trial, and how that affects all of us. It gets hard just speaking about it sometimes, but I just want to make sure that we tap on some redefining moments because it's super important. Then we'll be joined by two identical twins that were adopted as babies, but have a really, truly redefining story on how they not only met their biological mom, but discovered their Zambian background as well. And then we'll speak with distant relatives who, no, you know what? I had a whole nice punchline. Speaking of distant relatives, we'll talk with the founders of a nonprofit, the Distant Relatives Project, which focuses on developing underserved communities with across the globe by providing resources and awareness. We'll take a look at some shows on Unscripted and get a first look at what we'll be talking about next week on our All About the Green 420 episode. But now let's get into these redefining moments. Okay, so here we go. 2021 has been quite a year. from especially for the Black community. From watching the Capitol being stormed to watching a Black HBCU grad, Howard University, take office as the first Black and Asian woman VP. To Gorilla Glue Girl, to TikTok fads, appropriation, the ongoing misuse of police, guns, and power, we've been on a literal roller coaster, but unfortunately the ride isn't over. So back in 2012, I started Unscripted when I noticed coverage for the Trayvon Martin case wasn't being covered properly. As a young mom and a bright-eyed journalist, I went to my alma mater to catch the story myself. I worked in the newsroom, but I felt like I needed to do just a little bit more. I captured so much that I did not see make it to TV. I knew that traditional media didn't really care about the stories that we live and we know, and they wanted to tell the stories that feed a certain narrative. I wasn't with that. And I decided to focus on not only redefining our narratives, but finding other authentic and amazing creators that deserve to share their perspectives as well. Here we are, 9 years later, and still experiencing the same stories, different hashtags. From Ahmaud Arbery to George Floyd to Breonna Taylor and to Dante Wright, we've watched our Black people murdered in cold blood for no reason other than being Black. We have watched this trials and expected different responses than what the government has already told us. We have begged, we've marched, we've pleaded for a change, but we have not demanded the change that we need and we deserve. We, as a people, still need to change. The point behind Unscripted is to be able to share the information we need in order to change the way we see ourselves and the way we work with one another, the way we change our future and the way we change the world. It's not enough to have a police officer fired. It's not enough to see deceased women on the cover of a magazine for being killed while sleeping. It's not enough to have companies decide to speak up now. We need more, and we need to fight for our rights to get it. It's also Black Maternal Health Week. And ironically, 10 years ago, I remember the fear I faced while bringing my son into this world, the way I had to fight just to have a doctor properly handle me. I could have lost my life delivering my son or on the table where I had to have an emergency C-section, which I didn't feel like I needed. But anyway, we made it. Some don't. And now I have to wonder if the world will even take my son out before he's really able to live. It's not enough. And I will do everything in my power to make sure that he has more. And I want to make sure that others that feel like me are able to come together to make it happen for their children as well. So let this be the last time that we share a hashtag for a young person's name slain in vain without doing more work to protect ourselves and protect our peace. I hope that you are taking time to yourself to really step away from social media, because sometimes it can be daunting, and it really can get to you with your mental health and everything like that. I am no doctor, but I just know that after a while it does become painful. So definitely take a break from social media. Definitely take a break from all the things that are going on in the world and recenter yourself. Find your redefining moments. Find your redefining narrative and your purpose for being here so that we can continue to build together to get to the answers that we really need. I love you guys, and I just wanted to share these redefining moments with you all because with the recent Dante Wright incident, which, as we all know, is hard to deal with, and with us dealing with the trial with George Floyd, and with those two actually being connected because Dante's teacher was George Floyd's girlfriend. There's just so much. It's too close to home for us to just sit back and allow things to happen, or for us to not think that we can't do something. So I just want everyone to really kind of think about ways that they can, one, center themselves, protect themselves, but two, find ways to also step out into the community and make a difference. And that is why I'm on here today, because today we actually have some really great stories. Back in 2016, 16, I went to Nigeria to find my redefining narrative, to recenter myself with why I was doing what I was doing with Unscripted. And today we're actually going to be we're going to have amazing guests on who will explain something very similar. So I encourage you all to take the time with your family, like I said, to make sure that you stay strong through the storm. But God, I'm all over the place. But now that redefining over is over, let's continue. So I want to get back to the redefining moment of two women's past that is bound to make you have a double take. Now, here's the moment where you can insert some sister theme music. But we're going to talk with Mariel and Muriel and Mireille. Oh my gosh, I'm butchering their names. I'm going to make them fix it. But Mariel is a fellow boy mom with 2 young sons with her fiance, who runs a business and insurance with her significant other. And Mireille is, she lives in Ontario, Canada, and she also works in insurance. And they were born and raised in Nova Scotia, Canada, being half Zambian and half Canadian. They were adopted at 3 months old and raised in a small, predominantly white community. They accidentally met their biological mom at 12 years old and then connected with their Zambian aunt, who eventually facilitated their trip to Zambia to meet their biological paternal grandparents and extended family in 2011. And this is the story that we bring you all to today. But before I bring them on, I definitely want you to see these 2 viral clips of them that went viral that really got me interested in their story and that really share a lot about what their narrative is and what their journey is. So check out these 2 videos, and then we'll be joined by our special guests who are going to fix how I butchered their names. All right.
Le général Dangote, le grand
When we were 12 years old, we met our birth mother accidentally at the mall. Watch till the end. My identical twin sister and I were adopted at the age of 3 months old. It was supposed to be a closed adoption, and we weren't supposed to have any information until the age of 18. That's not how it worked out, and we've had some very coincidental reunions ever since. Here's the first one, and follow for more. So we're 12 years old, we have a soccer game, and afterwards we go to the mall with our friend. The city where we were was about an hour and a half away from our hometown. We go to the mall and we go to the photo booth to take some pictures with our friend. When we get there, there's already someone else's pictures there. We didn't recognize the ladies. They looked to be about 25. So we looked around, found them, and gave the pictures back. Later, we see my mom talking to the same women. And we're like, who are these women? And why does our mom know them? As we get closer, turns out it's our birth mother and her sister. We were named after them on our original birth certificate. And my sister had on the exact same shirt that they did. Our birth mother recognized us 12 years later.
If that story doesn't get you excited to talk to them, then I don't know what will. But without further ado, I definitely want to bring them on so they can really share their narrative. So I'm going to ask that they unmute and get ready to come on screen. So here we go. Hi. Uh-oh, I think y'all are both still muted. Oh, no.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't hear your sister.
I can't hear my sister either.
Let me see. It says, okay. And hit it again. No. We were dealing with this earlier. It's crazy. Yeah, I know. But, okay. Let's see. What I can do is I can start
Play
asking
with your
questions.
settings.
It
Yes,
says
you, Mariel.
Marielle, that's right. I did see. Okay, I'm glad you said it. So I can.
You actually said mine right the second time too.
Okay, good. Yay! All right. I just knew it was too quick, so I didn't want to make sure that it was all butchered because my name is Falashade, which is hard. So I don't like when people butcher my name either. So it's a big deal for me to make sure that I get it right. But and I'll tell her that it says, yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yay.
There we go.
There we go. You know, technology is crazy, but I'm glad that we were able to figure it out. So thank you both for coming on. How is your day going?
Good.
Great. I was looking forward to this all day.
I was looking forward to it too. I was so excited to kind of talk to you both because obviously your two videos, and both of you did your own videos, right? So one went viral on TikTok and the other went viral on Instagram. And Maria, which one did you do?
I did the one about meeting our birth mom at the mall on TikTok.
And then Mere, you did the one you did the one that almost reminded me of Sister Sister. The breakdown.
Oh, I think my sister did that one too.
Oh wow.
Okay. I did one too. That was Sister Sister, but she did the one with all the different African outfits and the explanation about meeting our aunt.
Okay, obviously I would get you guys confused, but this is really great, and I really do thank you both for coming on. But let's get this thing started because obviously this is called Redefining Now. So these are about redefining moments. And my first question before we really start diving in is like, that was such a redefining moment. You meeting your mother, but then later on meeting your aunt. So, how, like, was that the first redefining moment, meeting your mom, or was there something that preluded that you kind of knew that something different was about to happen, or you were about to kind of come into your full selves and learn more about your history?
Go ahead, Maria.
I'll start. I think meeting our birth mother was truly the first redefining moment. Before that, obviously, we always knew that we were adopted because we're biracial and both our parents are white. But I think meeting her, it was just kind of the first person that was a blood relation to us, the first person that we could have a little bit of a genetic DNA, that type of connection with, other than each other. So I think a lot of people take that for granted, that you have your mom, your dad, your siblings that are all related to you by blood, but we just only had each other. Everywhere else we looked in our families, people didn't look like us. We were the only ones of color. It was easy to kind of feel left out. So I think meeting someone who, like, we knew she gave birth to us, we knew she thought about us all these years, and finally we were making that connection again. I think that was truly redefining for me. I think that was the first one. I don't know if you want to input before we move on to meeting our aunt.
No, I agree with that too. I definitely appreciated having you, though, as one person who looked exactly like me, even though looking around at the other members of our family, no one else really looked like us. There weren't any other people of color, but at least I had my sister, one person who looked exactly like me. So I think that helped. But definitely the first time that we met our birth mother, yeah, just like my sister said, it was like, wow, there's someone else who, like, she had the same teeth we did. There, you know, you see someone and even our smile, things like that. So it was just nice to see someone that you could see yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great response, and honestly, that led to a question that I didn't even think of, because you did grow up in a predominantly white area, and you did have two Caucasian parents, but that means that you having each other meant that y'all did get to share some of these experiences together. So everything that you went on this journey with, you did it with somebody else. But when it comes to meeting your mom and you seeing her in this photo booth and looking at this picture, did y'all think that y'all looked like her when you looked at the picture, even like without knowing anything about her?
I feel like you should retell the story.
Yeah. So when we looked at the picture, so we get to the mall, we go to the photo booth, we hadn't met them yet. So
we see those pictures and we think they're strangers. So when we look at the pictures, we didn't know yet it was our birth mother. So we just thought like, oh, these are these blonde white ladies. We had no clue that they were any relation to us. And then we see them, we give the pictures, and it's only later on when we see our mom talking to them that we're like, who are they? And me and my sister both talked about this the other day. We both felt like a millisecond before my mom said, this is your birth mother, we both got this feeling within us that something crazy was about to happen. And we just talked about it the other day. We had never talked about it before, but we both got a feeling, and we knew like a millisecond before she said it, I knew that she was going to say, this is your birth mother. It was crazy.
Wow.
I remember my heart started pounding and I knew something was about to happen.
Wow.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So I'm glad that you retold the story, because that does put it all into perspective. So okay. You meet right. Like that's a crazy moment. That is a huge redefining moment. So your heart was pounding before, but then after you meet your mom, the question that I have that I really have to ask is, this was a closed adoption, which means that that your adoptive mom did not have to tell you guys that was your mom. Did she ever
No,
talk to
she
you
didn't.
about why she was open to like letting y'all in with that conversation so on the spot?
I don't know that we ever specifically asked, but I do know my birth mother actually reached out to me after I posted that video, and she told me that as we were approaching, she whispered to my mom, if you're not ready for this, we don't have to. And she said that she was. So I know that if she wouldn't have been ready, she wouldn't have done it. But knowing my mom, like if you met my mom, she's super religious, she's super sweet, she's just an angel on earth. She would have never said no, I don't think. I think that all our lives, she was always open with us. She always told us what she knew. We even had like an adoption book that had pictures and stuff. So nothing was ever hidden. So I think that she was always open to that. If ever it happened and it was God's plan for it to happen, she wasn't going to stop that.
Wow. Okay. So now you meet your mom, right? And you have this amazing moment where now you're being connected to pieces of you that you didn't know before. And then what? Like 4 years later, you end up meeting your aunt. And that this is a completely separate story, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
I
kind
need
of
it.
connected though.
Go ahead.
It's kind
You
of
go ahead,
connected.
Nita.
So if we back up a bit, our birth father attended university in Canada, and that's how he met our birth mother. And then they had us and gave us up for adoption. Then we meet, fast forward 12 years, we meet our birth mother accidentally. And it turned out, and I don't know the timing of this, but it turned out that our biological father's little sister ended up attending the same university he had attended. And through a mutual friend, my birth mother and my birth father's sister met. And she ended up telling him, FYI, in 1991, I had twin girls with your brother. And she had no idea. And neither did anyone in his family.
Wow.
So we were actually connected with our aunt through our birth mother.
Wow. Okay. And then, okay. All right. So, like, just take me on the journey. So, you meet your mom. Now you meet your aunt. And now she explains to you more. Like, she starts telling you stories about your dad. Like what happens? What brings you back to, or what brings you to Zambia so that you can meet your paternal grandparents and extended family? And, like, what was that whole experience like?
Take it away, Marielle.
So when we met her, there was obviously like the reunion. That was great. She did tell us a lot about her family. But the most surprising part, like what my sister was saying, is that no one knew about us. So that was going to be the tricky part with getting to Zambia, because our grandparents didn't know we existed. So at that point, only my birth father and his little sister know. They have no clue that they have grandchildren out there in the world. They think that they have no grandchildren yet. So, and we're 16 at this point. So basically our aunt tells her brother, our birth father, you have to tell them. And if you're not going to tell them, I will. And he doesn't tell them, long story short. So she tells them. And as soon as they found out about us, my grandma said, I'm not going to sleep until I meet my granddaughters. So that's how we started the planning to go to Zambia, because she actually wasn't going to sleep until we started planning the trip to go. She was like, they need to get here now. It took 3 years for us to get there because we were 19 when we went. But the planning started, I think, around when we were 16, 17, when they found out about us. They had no clue we existed.
Wow. That's a redefining moment for them. We need to get them on the line.
Yeah. No, I think they were shocked. But before we went there, it was actually nice because our aunt came down and she made some of the Zambian, some meals, like some, I don't know if in Nigeria it's called the same thing, but in Zambia they call it nshima, and in Congo they call it fufu.
Oh, we call it fufu.
Fufu, okay. So she made that for us. So we had never seen that before. That was super cool. And yeah, so she came down, she showed us a lot of things, taught us a bunch about our family and our culture. But in 2019, we actually traveled to Zambia. That was myself, my sister, and our mom, our adopted mom. So yeah, in 2011, we were 19. It was in May. We were there for 2 weeks. So I'd say like meeting our birth mom is one redefining moment. Meeting our aunt is another. And then meeting our grandparents was a really big one. And just traveling to Zambia. One thing that sticks out in my mind is that when we were growing up, no one looked like us. Okay, everybody was Caucasian. There was no one who was of color. And I just remember getting to Zambia and being like, oh my God, everyone looks like me. Like, it's just, I don't know, it might seem like a silly thing, but that in itself was redefining to me. Like, I'm not, even though I was technically still a minority because I was lighter skinned to them. So they still kind of referred to us differently. So that was another thing, but I still felt like I belonged, to put it simply.
I have a question for you, and I'm not sure if you remember this, but do you remember when we arrived at the airport and there was a security lady who was just asking us what the nature of our visit was, and we said we were adopted as babies, we're here to meet our biological family, and then after she was done all the security stuff and passed us back our passports, she was like, welcome home.
Welcome home. I do.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember that feeling in my heart when she said welcome home. It was just so heartwarming. I'll never forget that moment.
Y'all are gonna make me cry because like everything that you're just saying, I relate wholeheartedly. Like I went to Nigeria for the first time. I'm Nigerian American, but I wasn't into my roots. So I went to Nigeria for the first time in 2016, and they did naming ceremonies for people who were American, who they just were like, look, like we feel like we're home here. So for you guys to get the same welcome home and that feeling of belonging, and then for me to like relate to it because I remember that whole experience. It's just like it's a I don't know, like it's almost a moment that you can't put into words, and it's crazy that you just now asked her that question and y'all both remembered it like that. So that's huge. That's one of those things that sticks out in your brain and that y'all will have forever. So I'm really glad to have heard that story. Like, it's beautiful. But
and another thing that stands out, another thing that stands out is when we met our grandmother. And I don't know if you remember her saying this, but she was like, as soon as she saw us, she was like, you are proper Zambians. Like, she just thought like, we are Zambian through and through. These are my granddaughters. And then she never left our side the whole visit.
That's so beautiful. And are you still connected with her now?
Yes.
Yes, we still communicate. Go ahead.
Oh, we still communicate. She does have health issues, so she's in the UK now, and unfortunately, I don't think she's ever going to be able to go back home due to her health issues. So hopefully, we'll be able to see her again in the UK. But for now, it's through like video and messages and calls. But yeah, we're still connected for sure. It was just so amazing, amazing.
Right. And that's great. And I don't mean to pry, but I noticed that your dad didn't want to tell his mother. So do you guys have a relationship with your father?
Um, so this part I didn't share too much because we don't have a relationship right now, but I can share some details. So he did not tell his parents. We thought he told no one. But the interesting thing, when we got to Zambia, we met one of his cousins, one of his male cousins. And his our grandma saying, like, oh, these are the girls. Oh, you'll never believe it. There, and she says her son's daughters. And he goes, oh, the twins from Canada. And we're all like, wait, what? Like, you knew? And apparently there was him, like our birth father, his brother, and a bunch of his male cousins all kept the secret for 19 years. They all knew this whole time. So I think, I don't know if it was shame. I can see it being shame that he didn't tell them. I can also see it maybe that he thought if they knew, they would be like, well, we'll raise them. I think that would have been a really big possibility that they would have said that, which would have complicated things too with our birth mother being here. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that came into play, but I do think that shame was a lot of it. But now, unfortunately, no, we haven't spoken to him, I think, since 2016, if I'm not mistaken, Mide.
Same, yep. But we did at first when we first met our birth mother and then were connected with our aunt. We had a relationship with him over the phone and via email and things like that. But after our trip to Zambia, and sorry, I don't know if you wanted to mention this, he was supposed to meet us there and didn't end up showing up, and we still don't really know why. And then the communication kind of stopped since then. And again, we're still not really sure why. So I'm sure he has his own story and his own reasons for that. And for us, well, I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure my sister agrees. We have an amazing dad. And, that's good enough for me. So if he has his own reasons why he isn't reaching out anymore, that's completely fine with me. I don't feel like I'm missing. I don't feel like there's a void to fill there because I have such an amazing dad already.
Did your adoptive parents go with you to Zambia as well? Like did they feel like they needed to be a part of the experience?
Our mom did. Our mom came with us. Our dad, I think he was probably working or something at the time, but it was me, my sister, and my mom came with us, and she loved it as well. She loved it.
Oh yay.
And
Okay.
they loved her too. Even the meeting when we met our grandparents, that was so emotional. We have photos. I'll send them to you. You'll probably cry. You can just see the emotion in her face. When we walked, our grandfather came to pick us up at the airport. And when we walked into the house, my grandmother was nowhere to be found because she went to hide in a room because she couldn't even contain herself with the emotion. And then when we saw her, she just collapsed. And my sister and I and her were in a group hug, and she was just hysterical. And then she just looked at us and said, I never got to carry you on my back. And obviously, I feel like you probably know how meaningful that is for an African grandma. And but then the meeting between her and my mom was beautiful as well because she was just telling her, you're an angel. You took care of my granddaughters. Like she was just praising her. They were praising her the entire trip.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's so much more that I need to pull from you guys, but I know that it's because we've been talking forever, and I definitely want to make sure that we're able to to see the pictures and maybe do like a recap and share some of these moments, because this is amazing. But one of the last questions that I do want to ask is, you just recently put these videos out on social media, and people have started to like respond, and now I'm sure that you get some messages about people who either want to learn more about their adoptive families or even their history, like where their lineage is from. Like, what has been the redefining moment from just sharing your story on social media?
Well,
I think. Oh, go ahead.
for me, I felt like it was kind of an accident because the video with me trying on the African clothing, I just posted that on TikTok back in January, and I never intended to post it on Instagram at all or share it anywhere else. And then it was just about a couple weeks ago, I was moving into this new place. That's why I remember the day. And a friend of mine messaged me and let me know that that video was shared on Instagram. So I don't even really know how that page Afro Nation got a hold of it. They must have saved it from TikTok and then just posted it on Instagram. And since then, other pages have been sharing it. But it was a complete accident to me. My sister's more of the one posting about our story more frequently and things like that. So I was actually surprised that my video ended up going a bit viral on Instagram.
Wow. And then you?
Oh, for me, I was saying this. I think I was saying this to my sister the other day. I don't know a lot of adoptees, a lot of people who are adopted. I only discuss that or share that with my sister. So I find something that's been redefining to me is I've gotten a lot of adoptees reaching out to me, and adoptive parents, and people asking how the experience was, people even asking, like, when should I tell my adoptive child about their adoption. There was even someone that reached out and they had 3 birth children and 1 adopted child. And the adopted child felt really, really left out because the 3 other children were birth children. And she was like, how did you guys deal? Because she knew that we were in an interracial adoption. So she was like, how did you guys deal with that? Did you ever feel left out? So I find the redefining moment is meeting all these adoptees and all these people who share that with me and who I can relate on that point with, because I never had that before with anyone other than my sister. So I find that's been really, I don't know, it's been a nice experience to discuss that with the other adoptees.
Wow. That's big. That's beautiful. I love that. And I found out that even DMX was adopted, and that's a whole story that people have been trying. Yeah,
I
so
didn't
that
know
was
that either.
right. That was actually a big story, and that was something that they were trying to talk about. That he still felt like he was missing something when he passed, and I was like, wow, like I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send y'all something afterwards so y'all can look into that too. But
Yeah.
no,
Another sorry, I just thought of another redefining moment for me. I felt was realizing how lucky we are to even know about our African heritage. A lot of the comments that I saw from African Americans specifically were like, I have to pay to get a DNA test done to figure out my African heritage, and you're really lucky. You should feel really fortunate to have been able to access that information easily. And I never really thought about that. So that's something that's been a bit redefining for me, realizing how fortunate we are to be able to have this, to be able to have gone through this journey in the first place.
I agree 100%. And I think that it's beautiful that you are able to get that culture. And I'm hoping that we're able to find a way to help other people get back and trace the roots and just get our stories, get our narratives out there, and get that feeling of that sense of home. Like you said, when you got off the airplane and the lady said welcome home, like all of that. I think that everyone deserves that, and I'm hoping that more people are able to experience that. But I'm really glad that you guys were able to experience that, and even with the lineup of so many like crazy events that led to it. And I'm hoping that there's even more great things in store, that we'll be able to catch up again and have a even more fun, maybe on camera in one place after COVID sit down talk, so
That would be amazing. One more coincidence. I know at the beginning you mentioned sister sister.
Mm-hmm.
So in sister sister, they're obviously twins, adopted, identical, biracial. They meet their each other accidentally at the mall. But if you've watched the show, Tia's last name is Landry in the show,
It
like ours.
is. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, it is. That is crazy. They stole
Is
someone went in the future, saw this video and was like, you know what, we're gonna take their whole story and make a show about it. You know they do that. They no just just but that's dope. That is cool. See, we just got way more to talk about, but I'm really glad that you guys were able to come on and share your redefining moments and stories. And like I said, I know that there's more in store, but I just want to give you guys a couple moments to share how people can reach you all or how people can find you, because I know that this is just the beginning.
Thank you. I'll go first. I have the same at on everything. So on Instagram, it's at housecoat mommy, and it's the same thing on TikTok at housecoat mommy.
And same with me. I have the same social media or the same handle for all social media, and it's at Mireille Adele. So at my first name and Adele, Adele.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I hope y'all have a great day. And I'm just really smitten that you both are on here. We're definitely going to catch up. So I'm going to make sure that we catch up so I can see some of these pictures and just do a nice little recap, hopefully for next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So let's see. I really want to thank them for joining us and having such a great conversation. I loved hearing about their redefining moments, and I cannot wait to see where their journey continues to take them. So now that we've talked about being able to find their distant relatives, let's actually talk with the organization that focuses on developing and providing resources for our distant relatives across the globe. The Distant Relative Project is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a commitment to develop underserved communities around the world by creating opportunity and access to resources by using 3 core pillars to navigate their impact: education, homelessness, and healthcare. And I was gonna let them share this story, but I want to share it because I think that this is really, really important for you guys to know. So, the founder, William, in 2017 was taking a trip to visit his mother's hometown in Ghana, and he wanted to make an honest donation. So he brought back supplies, clothes, and computers. Cool. Everyone does it. Like I do that too. But no. He decided to go above and beyond. And he brought back enough supplies for 8,000 students and provided medical supplies and equipment for 8 hospitals, and then raised enough money to renovate the Seva Ami Zion Primary School by building their computer lab and a library. Like, what? I make sure and try and do things and give back to the community, but that was amazing. So if one man could save the world was a person, it'd be William. And his vision to bring that all together with his team is just amazing. So before I welcome them on, I definitely just want to make sure that you can kind of see more about their nonprofit. So just watch this quick video.
I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone. The good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost.
Yes, and that's just a little bit about what they've done. That obviously was here in DC, but I definitely want to make sure that we're able to talk to them. So, without further ado, please welcome them on to the show. Oh, no. Y'all pressing buttons, trying to make it all happen. Welcome, y'all.
Thank you, Falashade. How are
Thank you.
you?
Thank you.
I'm well. I'm well. How are you all doing?
Man, we're doing
Great.
good.
Good.
Doing good.
Thank you for having
Awesome.
us.
Of course. So, like, you know what? Just to get it started, can you introduce yourselves and kind of tell us what your role is with distant relatives?
I'll go first. So my name is William Asedu. I'm the founder and CEO of the Distant Relatives Project. Jason, you want to go next? Sorry, trying to find my charger.
We can't have your computer dying out while we're talking.
Nah, no way, no way. Trust me, I'm here for you. All right, Jason's back now.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm the director of programs.
Nice to meet you.
And I am Masai Balana, so I'm the director of the strategic marketing at the Distant Relatives Project.
Awesome. So I really appreciate all of you all for being on today. Obviously I brought on your nonprofit because I thought it went really well with the conversation that we were having earlier with how they were able to connect with their distant relatives. And then also the story that you have when you went back to your mother's hometown. You know, like everyone just has like a story that connects them back to their distant relatives. So I was checking to see if anyone else on your team had a story like that too.
Well, at least I can share my experience. I don't know any unique stories like that. That story kind of like is like one in a lifetime type of deal. You know what I mean? That's something you put into a movie. But I will say a lot of us have reconnected with our roots just by experiencing back home. As adults, going back and seeing what it's like for ourselves, I think a lot of us have had like that to where it's influenced us to go back more, do more, and see how we can impact.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
I'm just grateful for the organization because I haven't been back to Ghana since I was probably like 10 or 11. And since we've launched the project, I've been back, every year consistently, so while we are on the ground and while we are doing work, I also get to see a lot of my family, like my cousins, that I haven't seen in years, so just having that consistent interaction with them, actually building a relationship with them, even still getting on WhatsApp. I know we all have WhatsApp. We talking to our family back home, it's just it's just great.
And then you, Masai?
Yeah, I think for me, along with the organization, but a personal goal I always have, and I sort of leverage the organization to be able to accomplish is sort of building that connection between the diaspora and our family and our loved ones back home. I think, we all have a responsibility, especially some of us more than others as first generation Americans, to sort of sacrifice, whether it's time, energy, hard earned dollars, whatever it may be, to make the same sacrifices a lot of our parents and grandparents and further down the line of ancestry have made, for us to be in better positions. So, to never turn a blind eye to some of the struggles that our family is facing back home and to continue working to pull them out of those situations.
Absolutely. So I definitely love what you just said and what you guys stand for anyway. I'm slightly jealous that you guys get to go back consistently every year. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way for us to work together so I can be on that next flight. But
Right.
being that you're not only just focused on Ghana, you're focused on the global diaspora. How are you connecting with people? Like how are you finding these different places that you're figuring out need help or like how does that process go? Are you working with other nonprofits?
Well, I think Masai kind of touched on it really well. So when the organization first started, we started out in DC, right? That's where we're all based. And that work kind of became like an extension of like community service we're all just doing in our individual networks as well as like in the church. A lot of us come from the same church. And then the first international project, of course, was in Ghana because that's where I was from. That's before the whole organization started. We became official. And then one of the points Masai made was one of the goals that we try to do is connect the diaspora with the continent, right? We serve as like a medium for people to get to know, like not even just information, but see what the real life experience is like, because we're actually doing the work. So to answer your question, yeah, definitely. What we try to do is, well, I'll say my personal goal was giving people an opportunity to give back. So the country selection was based on who was in an organization and where they're from. So after Ghana, we went to Nigeria. We had a member from Nigeria who was working with the head of diaspora. That individual happened to be an assistant to the president. So that's how we got into Nigeria. Masai's my director of strategic marketing. His background's from Ethiopia. His family's from Ethiopia. So of course, naturally, we expand into Ethiopia. And then the entire project is centered around the diaspora, which includes us here in the States, Africa, as well as the Caribbean. I have a personal connection with Jamaica. So I also always knew we were going to head to Jamaica. So that's kind of like how the countries came about. With all the work that we do, we want to be very intentional. So to answer your question, it's giving people an opportunity to give back and serving as a platform as well as our members.
I love that. And honestly, I do think that we have so much in common. So I want to make sure that we do continue this conversation even after this conversation to figure out how we can make that happen. Because the whole point of Unscripted is to redefine the narrative surrounding the Black global community. So we're trying to make sure that we have connections to people who have authentic stories that we can share. Because oftentimes when people talk about Africa or where they talk about certain countries in Africa, they give these one-sided stories that don't represent anything of what I know, you know? So what I think what you're doing is beautiful, and I'm really glad to see such an amazing team come together. I've seen some of your events and things that you've done. Like y'all don't play. Y'all some high-scale people, okay? So
For us, it's about just leveraging like our membership and our ability to create change and just recognizing that and just putting a plan together to execute. You know what I mean? I think we're successful because we've recognized our ability to create change and impact people's lives. And for us, we've just made it a priority and just been consistently on the plan ever since. So.
And that's what we need. We need more people like you, and for you to share that type of conversation with people to make that happen. I hear some echo. But like, so like I said, we have so much in common. I love it. And I want to make sure that people, because I done ran this time up, but I want to make sure that people are able to not only support you, but also to know how they can be a part of the Distant Relatives Project.
So we do have a monthly initiative that we love to encourage everyone to participate in. I'll leave that for Jason. But our website is distant, that's distant with a T, -relatives.org. We're also heavy on Instagram. You can follow us at the Distant Relatives Project. That's on Instagram at the Distant Relatives Project. And then we're also on Snapchat and Twitter at the DRP_. Those are our social media handling too as well at the Distant Relatives Project.
I thought he was gonna talk about. I'm sitting here like.
Sorry. But yeah, so every last Saturday of the month we have our Feeding Our Relatives program, which is committed to empowering the local displaced community and leading them on a path to self-sustainability. So in doing that, we offer hot meals, toiletries. We have medical team health screenings. We have medical teams that come out from Howard, Maryland, and all over. We offer gently used clothes. We also give free haircuts. So it's a dope event. We have volunteers from all over who come out and support us every last Saturday of the month. So definitely tap in. You can go to www.distant-relatives.org/feeddc to sign up.
To volunteer.
to volunteer. Yep.
All right. No, that's really dope. I can't wait to share this out with more people and make sure that we get a lot more people involved. Who knows? I might be there. Ain't no who knows. I'm gonna try and be there. Like
Oh,
this.
no, oh, no. Hey, we got you now. You definitely gonna be there.
No, that's good. So no, like I'm excited. I'm really happy for you guys for doing this and for taking a trip back home and turning it into a whole experience and something that can continue to grow, to build and grow. And I want to make sure that we continue to build and grow together. So
Definitely.
thank y'all. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that y'all want to share with the community while we're here?
For anyone who wants to support financially, they can also go to the website distant-relatives.org/give. Make a donation. We'll definitely be in contact, and you can reach out to us as well to see how you can support any particular initiative or a specific country you may want to support. You can reach out. We'd definitely love to have that conversation.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you all for being on tonight, and you can stay on if you'd like, but I'm just gonna close out the show so that we can really have this great distant relative experience. So everyone, I really do. Oh, let me do this real quick. Sorry. Okay. So I really, really loved today's experience. We got to talk to some twins that had a really dope story, and I don't even think that we finished. Like, we got a lot from them, and then now we're also able to talk with an amazing nonprofit that I know that we'll continue to keep talking with, because they deserve some shine, but they're also really putting in a lot of work. So I appreciate everyone who was on tonight, and I really appreciate everyone who's watching tonight. But also, what I want to do right now is make sure that y'all know what's happening next week. So thank you for tuning in again. We have this every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And next week, Tuesday just so happens to fall on 420. So we're talking all about the green, from cannabis to money. And we'll be joined by some amazing people in the cannabis industry discussing how the Black community can take the opportunity to use the same drug that put us in jail and put us behind sometimes and learn how to turn it into profit. We'll also be joined by Mark Harris, who is the creator of White People Money, which is a movie that's coming to streaming platforms near you on 4/23. So please check out this trailer of his show right now. And then I'm also going to run some of our shows that actually focus on the cannabis world. And then we'll see you next week where we're going to talk about money and weed. All right.
We really need some serious money coming through this house.
Why don't you at least try to match my pay grade?
I'm not talking about a couple of $1,000s a month, Nora.
Well, I have a savings account.
How much you got enough for real?
Negative $15. But I needed some eyelashes.
Well, see you later. Johnson Furniture Store.
Hey, y'all carry sofas?
What type of goofy-ass person calls a furniture store and asks if they carry sofas?
Excuse me?
Here's his write-up, sir.
You're fired.
Hello, Internet. It's your friend Nicole Arbor here with an insane announcement. The Giving Pledge. $15 billion to 15 lucky winners.
Nora, wealth, prosperity. The secret to solving our problems is that we need white people money. I should send a text message to that number. This is Kareem Malik Johnson. Y'all not playing with me, right? Baby,
Yes.
we are billionaires!
Oh my god. Rich. I'm really rich.
I'm running like a nose.
Where are we going? To a mansion.
Hey, show me.
I can't wait to tell my mama and daddy.
No one can ever know about this money.
What? What is the point of being a billionaire if nobody knows?
To keep our money. We really need to convince our friends and family members to steal the same broke-ass people.
You know Pastor is expecting that new Bentley.
I just want a pair of LeBrons.
Put your hands up. We want white people money.
Right.
Now, we're not greedy. We just want $10 million to split between us.
Money.
This man just went from sounding like Saddam Hussein to Tom Brady.
I'm confused.
I just thought Muslims were on the up and up.
Who said I was a Muslim? I'm Baptist.
Make money, make money.
Love that. And it's an independent creator. We're really excited to talk with him. And we love what he's doing. So he's going to be on next week. Mark Harris, the creator of that show. Right now, we're just going to run through a few of the shows that focus on cannabis on Unscripted. Hopefully, they'll be able to bring you on to watch them while they're airing, because they're going to tell you the days and the times that they come on. But also, they'll be talking with us next week when we have our 420 episode all about the green. All right. Thank you for watching.
The problematic time transplant.
Choices, chances, and consequences. The decisions that you make or don't make, they're gonna affect you.
What controls you, courage or fear?
I believe I know what I can get this.